Which starter Pokemon is the strongest, according to science? Good question, and in today's video, I will be addressing just that. So over on Because Science, a video was created to determine which starter was the most powerful, and this of course is due to science, hence my title, so that's why I said because of science. There you go. So oddly enough, that video was sponsored by Fallout 76. So yeah. Maybe not the best sponsorship, but hey, whatever. Before I explain the scientific view of the best starter here, I have previously explored this question, and thanks to Generation 1's mechanics at the time, Venusaur is basically unbeatable because of a glitch. When using Leech Seed and Toxic in Generation 1, Leech Seed becomes Toxic, in that it gains more damage over time. Basically, Toxic does increasing poison damage over time instead of set damage of normal poison. And Leech Seed becomes that. But because Leech Seed heals the user, it essentially becomes impossible to kill Venusaur as it continuously heals itself excessively, while the enemy takes massive damage from Toxic and Leech Seed combined. It's debatable which Gen 1 starter is actually the best, especially when we're talking about the original Gen 1 version and not a revision like Fire Red or Leaf Green or the Let's Go series. But back to Because Science. It was determined that because it takes much more energy to melt things, Charizard would be the most powerful. And that it takes more energy to melt things as opposed to transporting a large turtle's worth of water or charging a flower. So yeah, you ever seen the energy required to melt steel? Yeah, it's quite a lot. It makes sense in that logic. Blastoise and Venusaur can't melt steel, but because that video took a lot of its points from the Pokedex, it's hard to take it serious. Wait a second, taking Pokemon serious? Gee, I wonder who would do that. Well anyways, Charizard is basically the most powerful starter because it takes the most energy to do things, I guess. But if you take the Pokedex entries at heart, it could be argued that Blastoise is pretty strong due to being able to shoot such pressurized water out of its cannons that it can cut through steel. That's pretty big power right there. If Charizard can melt steel, then Blastoise can cut through it like paper, subjectively making it quite powerful as well. But one point that was made was that Venusaur couldn't hold a Solar Beam charge for long. And well, it's never really been shown that Venusaur could or could not hold a charge and use it later. When Solar Beam is finally charged, it becomes one of the most powerful Pokemon moves ever. And unlike Fire Blast or Hydro Pump, Solar Beam is 100% accurate. Sadly, it takes 2 turns to charge. However, if it's nice and sunny out, it doesn't. Meaning Venusaur can shoot off the power of the sun contained into a beam like it's a laser, just being trigger happy with all those solar beams. What is more powerful than the sun? That's a good question. Oh, that's right, a flamethrower, I forgot. But if you were to use Sunny Day, then yeah, it would make Charizard even more powerful and Blastoise weaker. So then, that really does mean Charizard would be the most powerful starter. I guess, because science was right? And that's all there is to it. Hold it! Charizard might be the most powerful if the weather is calm, or even bright and sunny, and Venusaur might have the power of the sun, but both of these Pokemon are extremely disadvantaged if it's raining. That's right, our boy Blastoise can use a move known as Rain Dance to summon a storm. And when it's raining, fire moves are half as powerful. Not to mention Charizard's tail getting quite wet. Need I remind you what happens to the Charmander line of Pokemon when their tails burn out? Also, Venusaur is going to have a tough time charging that Solar Beam with no sunlight, so there's that. So then it's settled, right? Blastoise is objectively... Objection! Wait, hang on, so did I forget a starter? Let's see here, we have Fake Dragon, Giant Turtle, Dinosaur, Flower Thing. Yeah, that's it, that's the start. Wait, no. There's no way science could overlook Pokemon's most overpowered pint-sized starter. That's right, Pikachu. But how, you ask? I'm sure you're cringing at the thought of Pikachu being the most powerful starter. But if we check the Pokedex entries, just check out the very first one. When several of these Pokemon gather, their electricity could build and cause lightning storms. And lightning storms seem to be a bit more powerful than a Feg Dragon melting steel beams. But That is just according to the Pokedex. Realistically, who's the best starter? It's obviously Eevee. Wait, what? No, yeah, really. Not only can Eevee evolve into multiple Pokemon, but its potential is through the roof. It can be a Flaming Ball of Fury, an Electric Jolt, a Pokemon that literally becomes one with water, and so much more. But this video, because Science's video, they don't address the best starter, nor do they address the starter with the most potential. It was over the most powerful starter. And the most powerful starter and final evolution of said starter is impossible to determine based upon the given criteria. There's so much math involved trying to figure out the cutting of steel versus the melting of steel versus the electric consumed for all of these processes versus solar energy consumption and the ability to trap solar energy. All of those factors make it next to impossible to show objectively which is more powerful based upon numbers, facts, and everything that we have. But from a battle standpoint, from a versatile standpoint, from an actual power standpoint, Blastoise can cut through steel, summon rainstorms, and can learn ice moves like Ice Beam and Blizzard. So in terms of power, if Blastoise isn't the most powerful, then what is? And the answer to that question is balance. All of the starters can essentially be countered by each other in a big circle, making the question silly to ask in the first place, really, honestly. But if it makes you feel better, Charizard can melt steel, Blastoise can cut steel, and Venusaur is a portable solar power plant. Pikachu can power a Pokemon Center, literally shown in the anime with several Pikachu, and Eevee can evolve into almost anything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and exploring these Pokemon's powers as much as I did. If you did, you can leave me a big thumbs up, and you can like and share this video with other Pokemon fans. Tell me down in the comments down below, which Pokemon starter is the most powerful to you? Do you think the dragon is? Do you think the tiny turtle that becomes a tortoise is? Or do you think that crazy dinosaur / plant is the most powerful? Or maybe you have a wild card. Again, this was kind of Kanto based just because Science's video was Kanto based, so I mean, I'm sorry, but I didn't really include any other starters just due to that simple fact. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are out, which is a really, really great game, and this is obviously why this video was created in such a way to address Kanto starters over anything else. But at the end of the day, really, it is quite subjective on whether or not you like a certain starter versus their arbitrary power. As I stated before, the calculations required to determine who was spending the most energy and thus providing the most power, quote unquote, to determine which one was the most powerful is very, very difficult to determine. I mean, there's some very advanced math equations, stuff that you would be doing for engineering class in a college. And this is college level stuff we're trying to determine for Pokemon. So again, taking Pokemon a little bit too serious, yeah, taking a little bit too far, gee, I wonder who would do that. There ain't no one on YouTube who would ever do that. Anyways, I'm just closing out this video with these little things because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, well, why didn't you address Sinnoh Pokemon, or why didn't you address Black and White starters, or this, that, and the other. Yeah, I'm sure there's other starters that are much, much better in regards to very specified use. You know, there's tons of other starter Pokemon that I like a lot as well. I'm not just biased Gen 1 fanboy here, but yeah, like I said, it just seems that because of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee's release, that's why this video was made in the way it was made from Because Science. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The most powerful starter is impossible to determine based upon the power that they would expend.